So let's dive in to intersecting lines. What are intersecting lines? Lines that meet. So this activity helps us to see what happens when two lines crosses each other. So again, by default, it's two straight line, guys. If I have two straight lines crossing each other, something like this. So when two lines crosses each other, how to measure the angles they make. Okay, we'll see all of this. So for this, again, you guys need a plain piece of paper, ruler, protractor, and all of that, right? So I'll be using this for the same. Actually, I do have this. Let me see if I can use that. So draw lines. Use your ruler and pencil to draw two straight lines that crosses each other at a point. Or from the previous activity, you guys can use this. Measure angles. At the crossing point, observe four angles formed. Use your protractor to measure each angle and record the values. Draw three more set of crossing lines, each with a different look. Some more slanted and some more straight. So again, this such variation. Measure and record all the four angles for each pair. Actually, I should have had this over here. So next is we are looking at putting all of this onto a table. So let me try doing this with the help of this actually. Okay. Or no, let me use that software itself. So this is what you guys have to do on a sheet of paper and use protractor. I'll be using this space. Okay. So let me do this. So basically this is what we'll end up with. Yeah. So I can do this case. So we need around 4 pair. So this is my first pair. I will keep it over here. So I hope you guys know how to measure angles. So you guys can do a good job with your protractor. Here I have to do a bit of jugaad. Okay. Now this is 0. If I consider this as 0. We consider this as 0. Then this is 5. This is 10, 20, 30, 40. So this is 45 degree. Okay, guys. So this measure is 45 degree. Let me actually, yeah. This measure is 45 degree. Next diagram. Let me go back. So I'll consider this as 0. This is already 5. Let it be there. 5, 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 110, 120, and this is 130. So this angle will be, oh sorry, still over there. This angle is 135 degree. Right, guys? Next. See, end of it, you have to measure angle. How you measure the angle is left to us. So there is basic video in 6th grade actually. If you guys, I'll try to put the how to measure angle over here as well. So we'll try to do that. But yeah, by now you guys should know how to measure angles. So this is 0, 10, 20, 30, 40. And this happens to be 45 degree. Next, this. So I'll count from this point. So 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 20, sorry, 90, 100, 110, 120, 130. So this will be again, this is a 5, remember. So this is not the same. 135 degree. Okay. Next, let me take up this angle. Now I have to do this. We have enough space over here. No, let me go here. Hmm. Okay. So help me measure the values. So this is actually, it's very clear from this red thing to this point. It's 90 degree. So this is 10 more. So this thing by default is 100 degree, right? Next one would be 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. So this is 80 degree. Let's go back. So 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. So this is 100 degree. And finally we have, so 270 to this value. So that is around 350. So the difference is 80 degree, or let me do this 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. So this too is 80 degree. So they want us to do 5 of it. Or let me do it here and let me change this angle. No, we are not measured these two angles, right? No. Okay, let me do this itself. Yeah. Then we have this red line and this 90. Let me count from here. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, and this will be 55 degree, right? Then again, my protractor is so, and I don't have that small division. Yeah, you guys will have that small division. I don't have that. If not, both the protractors are same. Whatever you guys use and whatever I am using, they kind of same. Next angle is 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. Actually, you guys should know from 90 to 180 is 90. And then we have 100, 110, 120. This is 125. Next, we have from say 270, I'll count. So we have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 55. Then we have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 110, 120, 130, and wait, I think I counted 90, 100, 100, 110, 120, 125. Okay. So this is 125 degree. And finally, we have 1, 2, 3 pair done. So I need to change the angle though. Okay. I change the angle. Not very convenient, honestly. Yeah, this is okay. Is this the same? Yeah, this is. I can't measure with my protractor, so I'm manipulating this a bit. Mm. Again, this is my protractor is not, can't measure those values. What about now? No. Okay, this looks promising. Okay, so this I can manage. So last one. You guys can measure better. You will have a better scenarios. So I have this though. Okay, so it is over here. We have 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, and this is 60. So this is 60 degree. So we have 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 110, and 120. This turns out to be 120 degree. This is 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, and this is 60 degree. And 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 110, 120. So this is 120 degree. Okay, done. 4 pairs. Not easy to do this on software. Yeah. Pair 1, first angle was 135. This is my pair 1. Second angle, I'll consider this as 45 degree. I think I started with 45 degree. Anyways, doesn't matter. Third is 135 and the fourth is 45. Sum of the adjacent angles. Okay, let me find the sum. The sum is pretty important, so I'm showing it on the calculator. 135 plus 45. First of all, what is adjacent angle? I didn't explain that itself. What is an adjacent angle? Let me go to this. So let's zoom in as well. Again, we are trying to understand the word adjacent. Adjacent has to do with neighbors. So if I happen to measure or not mark this angle, who is the neighboring angle? Who is a neighbor for this red, not red, orange? Yeah. Who is neighbor to this? The purple one and the yellow one. Do you guys agree? And who is neighbor to the green? For green, it would be the purple and the yellow one. So neighbors share one common angle. One common arm. So those are your neighboring angle, and adjacent angles are neighboring angle. So angles which share one common arm are your adjacent angles. So we have, say, 135 plus 45. So that is 45, 180. So you can see all this, whatever you do, the adjacent angles are going to be 135 plus 45, 45 plus 135, 135 plus 45, so on and so forth. So basically we are ending up with 180 degree in this case. Now next pair, this is pair 2. So we have 100, I'll start with 100, 80, and then 100 again, and then 80 degree again. So what is the sum of neighbor? So 100 plus 80, 180. 80 plus 100, 180. 100 plus 80, 180. 80 plus 100, 180. So this 2 is leading to 180 degree. Let's look at pair 3. So I'll start with 55 degree. That's my first angle. Again, guys, you can start anywhere. That's left to you where your first angle is. So this is 55 degree and this is 125 degree, the last one. Now we're looking at the sum 55, 125. How much is that? 55, 125 is 180. So 55, 125, 180, 25, 125, 55. So you can see that pairs are all of the same combination. So this is 180 degree. Third one we have, if I start with 60, next is say 120 degree, next is 60 degree, and next is 120 degree. So let's consider one neighbor, a pair of neighbors, 120 and 60, and this will be equal to, yes, 180 degree. And you can see that all the pairs are 180 degree. All the neighbors are 180 degree. Now, how many angles are always made when two lines cross? It's always 4 angles, right? Everywhere we measured 4 angles. What do you notice about the angles that are directly opposite of each other? Let's see. So can you see what is happening? Lines which are opposite, angles which are opposite of each other. In this case, the opposite angles are the orange line, orange angle and the green angle. Those are opposite. While over here, purple and yellow are opposite. So opposite angles are those, adjacent angles are next to each other. Neighbors. Next. Just remember the word next whenever you hear the word adjacent. Technically, they share one arm. Okay, if you guys don't remember all of this, that's for you guys. Yeah. Opposite angles. Okay, so opposite angles are, let me show it here. Again, all these are to be understood properly. If not, you will be in trouble. So for angle, say I'll call it as A, I'll call this as B, I'll call this as C, and I'll call this as D. So this is opposite to C, and this is opposite to B. Okay, yes. So with that understanding, what do you notice between the opposite angles over here? Observe. Yes, opposite angles are equal. Are they equal? Yes. If you add up all 4 angles, what total do you get each time? So we already know that 2 neighboring angles are 180. Let's see what happens when you add up all the angles. So there is 135 and 135. So there are 135s and there are 45s. So this sum to 360 degree. So let's take up one more. Sorry. So we have 60, 120, then 120 again, and then 60. So this 2 adds up to 360 degree. So you guys can try the other 2, right? 180 by default is 360 degree. So all the angles are adding up to 360 degree. Finally, 2 crossing lines always form 4 angles. Opposite angles are equal. They are called vertically opposite angles. Okay, so this is something that we'll keep using. All 4 angles together always adds up to 360 degree. We saw that. Adjacent angles like A and B in this case form by two lines intersect each other are called linear pair. Linear pair always add up to 180 degree. Linear means line, remember? Linear, you can see the word line over there. So two straight lines, when they meet, the adjacent angles add up to 180 degree. From the above reasoning, we can conclude that whenever two lines intersect, vertically opposite angles are equal. Such a justification is called as proof in mathematics. Okay, that's just for a small note. You don't have to bother with this. I mean, at least don't do bother with it, but you need not write it. Okay, so what is that we learned? We saw that lines can intersect. That is, they can meet. So this is the point of intersection. Point of intersection. And there are how many angles? 1, 2, 3, 4 angles. And we saw that two neighboring angles always add to 180 degree. And all of them add to 360 degree. Vertically opposite angles are equal or not equal? Equal. So this is an example of vertically opposite angles. So let me see if I have the diagram for you guys over there. Yeah. So these two are, angle A and angle C are vertically opposite angles. Angle A and angle B are linear pairs. Okay. So we'll make use of all this language. So yeah, you guys have to basically write the conclusion. Everything else you can pause and have a look. If you want to just have a read, you can do that now. This you guys have to write the conclusion part and also the guided questions.